Well, good afternoon, fellow gardeners. My name is Kelly, aka K2, and this is K2 Garden Adventure, my channel dedicated to me building my dream garden and urban farmstead here on the beautiful central coast of California, Zone 9B. So, I've been busy all morning today and working with a bunch of avocados, so let me show you what I've been up to. So for orientation purposes, out on the front of the property, and I'm standing in the new tropical orchard, which forms the southwest corner of the property. That's the beautiful woodland garden over there, looking absolutely amazing. Over here in the tropical orchard, which created this last year when I removed some very tall pine trees that were diseased up here. Let me walk around this pineapple guava right here just so you can kind of see. So up here in the new tropical orchard, I've got mangoes and avocados and guava and bananas and a loquat and 7 citrus in a barrel. And anyway, so this morning started working early, and I managed to get this is Esther, which is a dwarf variety, and she has been struggling a little bit. She's planted in ground all the way back there by the oak tree. So since she is a dwarf variety, and I decided I was going to increase my avocados and try growing some in containers, I said, well, might as well put one of the dwarfs in container, and that is Esther. I also have Little Cotto or Wirtz, which is right there, is also in a container. And I had a holiday, but the holiday did not make it. If I pick up another one, I will make those the 3 dwarf avocados out here in containers. But anyways, things are growing really beautiful this spring. The mangoes are pushing out lots of beautiful new leaves. I still have one mango that is on carry that is trying to ripen. The one that was on sweet tart split open, but there was like 1 little centimeter in the middle that was ripe, so we enjoyed that. Anyway, so I pulled Esther up out of the ground and got her in a container. Now, everyone will say, oh, don't grow avocados in containers, and all that good stuff. Then there's people that you can find online that are quite successful. The trick is what kind of soil you plant them in. You can't just plant them in potting soil because their feet will stay wet. And so in this case, I'm using a mixture of half potting soil, 1/4 perlite, and 1/4 DG or deconstructed granite or something, whatever DG stands for. Anyway, so it is a very good draining mixture, and I'm using terracotta, which also is breathable and is able to drain. So that is what I'm doing for my containers. And then that is a pineapple guava, which evidently those are happy in containers as well. Turned out I already had a giant pineapple guava tree already on the property, so didn't need to put another one, and there wasn't room for it back in Guava Grove. Anyways, so you can see, so I moved Esther up, and then I brought the 4 avocados that were babies that were in the greenhouse, and I got them planted in containers. So we have Puebla right here, and then this is Helen, which is supposed to be a very wonderful avocado. I think Helen, along with Jan Boyce, were Judy Frink's, who was the queen of the UC Riverside avocado program. That was supposedly her 2 favorites or something. And then I repotted Daily 11 because it was one of the only ones that was up in a pot, but I just used regular potting soil and didn't do the DG and perlite amendment. So I repotted Daily 11, but with the better soil. And I can tell you that potting soil was a wet mess. So definitely, if you are going to do avocados in containers, even in terracotta, do not plant them in pure potting soil. And then finally, this is Nimlio, I believe. Yeah, so this is Nimlio, another one that I got through the mail, so it's just a baby, and put in a container. And then this one is Malama, which is a Hawaiian variety, and it almost died back in the greenhouse, but it just pushed out a whole bunch of new growth. So I got it in some real good soil, some organic fertilizer in there, and then for Malama, I'm gonna put one of the shade hats over the top of it because it doesn't have leaves to shade its bark. And that brings us to the final experiment that I'm gonna try. So I remember reading that Greg Alder, he warned about planting too close to an oak tree, and so I didn't know that. So this is actually where Esther was in the ground. So I needed to move Poncho from the back. Now Poncho is struggling. Poncho has not had a good life. He struggled in the front orchard, so I stuck him in the back, but he pushed out new growth, and then he was struggling again, and he's trying to push out some more new growth again. So anyways, I had this idea, and the reason not to plant too close to an oak tree is that eventually the avocado will just die because its roots can't compete with the oak tree roots, who will come up and steal all the water and resources. So I had this idea. What if I buried a terracotta pot and put the tree in that? And so could I maintain my look of being in ground, but it would provide some protection from the oak tree roots for the avocado tree. So anyways, we're gonna give this a try, and we're gonna keep our eye on Marcus Pumpkin over here, who was struggling but just pushed out a bunch of beautiful new growth, and may do the same thing with him, where I either just put him in a container or above ground, or do this trick if it works. But no idea, I've never seen anyone do this, but I like to try new things, so I'm giving it a try. So let me go ahead and get my special potting soil DG perlite mix all set up in there, and we will get Poncho in his new home, and then that should do it for today. So anyways, we'll see you in a few minutes on the other side. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. But let's show you everything I got done, and also how this rear avocado orchard is doing with the clematis and the dahlias are starting to come up back here in the cut flower garden. So let me flip this around and show you what we've got and finish up this video. So back here is where Poncho was, and he had to move because I've decided I'm going to extend out this paver patio and replace both of these sheds. The Rubbermaid shed is a little better. This $350 thing from Home Depot, it's garbage, but you know, for that price, what are you going to do? But I decided I wanted to get one more tough shed. It's going to be a lean-to variety like I have on the other side of the property, and it'll be 6 feet deep but 16 feet long, which means it's going to come out to about right here, but still fit nicely underneath this tree. So with all that said, Poncho had to move, and so pulled him out and took him up front. But I want to show you back here in this rear avocado orchard, because in amongst all these beautiful avocados, look at Palo d'Oro has a whole bunch of avocados on it. Look at all those. I don't know if he's gonna hold on to all those, or even if it's a good idea he does, but that is one happy avocado. But the dahlia tubers are coming up, and the clematis started growing a couple months ago, some of them. But look at how absolutely beautiful some of these are. We've got Viva Polonia. This one here is what is this, Pink Fantasy? Nope, Nellie Moser. There's hundreds of varieties. So back here in between all the baby avocados that I planted, I realized there was room, so I put in a little trellis tower and planted dahlias around the outside and planted a clematis on the inside. And gophers ate so much stuff, so it's going to be a big surprise what comes out. But some of these clematis are just absolutely stunning. Look at this, these guys here. This one is HF Young, and anyways, so yeah, I'm so happy. All these avocados are doing really good. So I think the only one back here of the new ones that's fruiting this year is Palo d'Oro, and then on this legacy one there are hundreds and hundreds of avocados everywhere. So I have a feeling, as happy as this guy is, it's going to give me lots of fruit. But it's absolutely beautiful time right now as the sun begins to go lower in the sky. Figured I'd see just how beautiful the roses are doing. So this is my informal rose garden, and look at Silver Linings, just one of my absolute favorites. Look at how gorgeous this is. It's essentially lavender. It's so beautiful. All these, we've got Peace and Ebb Tide, which is as close to purple as you're going to get. A yellow one, and then I'm not sure what that one is. And then all of these roses back here, actually, I wasn't sure if any of them were going to live, and they were so heavily infected with different spots, black spot and rust and everything else. So well, that one's that paintbrush one. So I put them in containers and hit them with some spray, and they survived. And since I had already filled up the formal garden, they ended up back here. Here we've got a Fuerte, the other legacy, and this one's is going to be my very first fruit. Look at the size of these guys already. I'm not sure what variety this is, but hopefully I'll be able to figure it out this year. But since I didn't know what variety it was, I planted a Carmen and a Fuerte next to it. So the little triad. And here's the apple orchard back here. Been working on filling up these raised beds. Got some more tomatoes. These are all just volunteer tomatoes and volunteer peppers that stuck around. You've got Guava Grove here and kiwis. We're on the back side of the all the orange trees. Strawberry guava, the amazing, I believe these are Thompson grapes. These are legacy ones that were left here. Here's my new berry patch. If you haven't yet, check out the video on that one. My passion fruit along the wall, my strawberry towers, my grape trees. Covered those in an earlier video, and look at that. That's just one Super Junior Vista bubblegum that I saved from the trash at Home Depot. Anyways, that's the formal rose garden over here. Future home of the swim spa, fingers crossed. And up here, we've got the tropical orchard, which looks so much better now. it's had a whole bunch of junk because started up here a couple of months ago and never got back. But up here we've got Marcus Pumpkin, which is doing great. This is where I put Poncho, doing my experiment in the ground of semi-burying a terracotta pot to ensure that the oak tree he's planted under doesn't overwhelm him. May do the same thing with Marcus Pumpkin. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, but I brought my llama up out of the greenhouse, got him in the containers, and got a shade tent over him. This one is Nimlio. He's got some leaves that are protecting his, well, I didn't have any more shade tents. Plus he's got some big leaves that are actually protecting his branches. Daily 11, if I get a couple more shade tents, might put one on him. He's actually been up here for a while, but he appears to be doing okay. But here I've got Helen, which I planted today as well. Put a shade tent on her. And then, oh, I need to fix Esther. Oh, you know, I didn't tie it up. Then I put Esther up here. Esther was in the ground and was putting on all this new growth, but Esther's actually a dwarf. And so I thought, well, might as well get her into a container now because I don't have enough room for all the avocados in the ground. So anyways, that is everything we did cleaning up the front tropical orchard. I finally got some white sun patience in at the Home Depot, so I can replace the couple that died up here, and then I need to move. There's actually a what do you call it? A hydrangea that's buried underneath that amazing yellow black-eyed Susan vine. But anyways, need to move that to someplace else. But all right, well, this video is definitely long enough, but thank you so much for sticking around and keeping me company while I did all this, worked on all these avocados. If you haven't yet, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with some friends and family. And most importantly, until the next time, you have yourself a wonderful evening and happy gardening.